this young boy king, became one of the most powerful symbols in Egyptological history.
In the shadow of Egypt's ancient cliffs, Sheikh Abd el-Qurna looms, a realm where history breathes, across from bustling Luxor. It's a labyrinth of tombs where Egypt's elite sought to outlast death itself. The fascinating Tomb of Osiris beckons a portal to the past, challenging our grasp on the eternal cycle of life and death. Here, where legends and reality intertwine, the air is thick with mysteries of divine realms and eternal curses. What truths lie buried in this ancient necropolis, waiting to rewrite history? Join us on a journey in the heart of Sheikh Abd el-Qurna, where each discovery reveals stories of power, faith, and the pursuit of the afterlife. The forgotten treasure of Osiris's tomb. In the world of digging up old stuff, where every shovel in the ground is treated like a groundbreaking event, there's a place called Sheikh Abd el-Qurna. That's pretty special. Not because it's the golden ticket to everything we want to know about ancient Egypt, despite what some folks might try to make you think, but because it shows us how today's stories color our view of yesterday's world. This spot is famous for its link to old Egyptian myths and how they dealt with saying goodbye to their loved ones. It's perched on the Nile's west side, right across from the bustling city of Luxor. It's part of a bigger area full of ancient tombs belonging to some pretty important people from back in the day, all looking for their ticket to eternal life. So, diving a bit deeper, the reason they picked the West Bank for these grand send-offs wasn't just for its pretty views. The West, where the sun takes its nightly dive, was all about death and what comes next, making it the hot property market for ancient Egypt's VIPs. The dramatic cliffs and hidden valleys of Sheikh Abd el-Qurna, with their mix of good looks and practicality, made for an ideal spot both for a scenic final send-off and keeping treasure hunters at bay. Then there's the buzz around the so-called Big Find, the Tomb of Osiris in Sheikh Abd el-Qurna, which got people both excited and a bit doubtful. This tomb, found by a team from Spain and Italy, working with Egypt's big shots in antiquities, is said to be a massive replica of the mythical resting place of Osiris, complete with all sorts of tunnels and rooms. It sparked a big conversation about finding stuff from the past and what it means for our understanding of history. The story goes that Osiris, the boss of the underworld, got a rough deal from his brother Set, who took him out and scattered him all over. But Osiris's partner Isis managed to put him back together and bring him back to life just long enough to start a family with Horus, the hero who takes down the bad guys. This tale is a big deal in the tomb, hinting that they really wanted whoever was buried there to be tight with Osiris in the afterlife. The whole setup, dating back to a time before our grandparents' grandparents, is a show of how clever and deep the ancient Egyptians were about their beliefs in engineering. There's this big hall held up by pillars, a special room dedicated to Osiris, and a bunch of underground passages that take you on a symbolic trip to the underworld. Plus, they've got these scary-looking guard statues with knives to keep the bad vibes away, all in a layout that mimics what they thought Osiris's own tomb would be like. It's like a sneak peek into what they believed about life after death and how much they valued their myths. Choosing Sheikh Abd el-Qurna as a burial spot really shows us a lot about what the ancient Egyptians thought about gods, dying, and what comes after we die. This place, part of a bigger area called the Theban necropolis across from Luxor, is full of stories and myths that tell us why it was chosen for burials. Here you'll find tombs of many important people from Egypt's past, like Amenemopet, who was a big deal at the Temple of Amun, and Amenmos, who was a captain and eyes of the king. The variety of people buried here shows us the social ladder of the time and how close or far you were from the gods, depending on your job or title. This place was a kind of bridge connecting the living world with the gods, especially Osiris, the afterlife god. The excitement around finding a tomb here that looks like the Tomb of Osiris only makes this place more special. The story goes that Osiris, the underworld god, was killed and cut into pieces by his brother Set. His wife Isis put him back together, and this story is central to their beliefs about dying and living forever, which you can really see in this burial site. As you look at the different tombs here, from the lower enclosure to the simpler burials in later periods, you see how burial practices changed over time, but always focused on staying connected to the gods after death. Finding a tomb that looks a lot like the Osirion at Abydos here raises some big questions. Was this just copying something sacred, or was it a deep statement about what they believed about gods and the afterlife? This discovery adds to what we know about how the Egyptians dealt with death, but it also shows how much we today love to connect with those ancient myths. So, Sheikh Abd el-Qurna, with all its new discoveries and rich history, gives us a great look into the mix of archaeology, mythology, and the stories we tell today. Get ready to explore the mystery and design of the Tomb of Osiris. Finding infamous Osiris and eternal life. The Tomb of Osiris, quite a showpiece of ancient Egyptian architectural genius, really seems to play up their fascination with what comes after this life. Built when Pharaoh Seti I was in charge, it's a massive maze-like place that's all about representing the journey to the afterlife. It makes you think maybe the Egyptians were trying to make up for life's shortness with these big, fancy tombs, kind of saying, "Look how important I am, forever." Walking through the Tomb of Osiris feels like stepping into a story of an adventure that lasts beyond death, designed not just for peace in the afterlife, but for a god-worthy saga. Dating back to the 25th and 26th dynasties, this place is all about their love for Osiris, the big boss of the underworld, who was also all about crops and even beer, which shows he was a god of many talents. The tomb's layout, with its detailed carvings of Osiris and scary-looking demons ready to defend, seems to suggest the afterlife was like a theme park for the divine, offering more than just a spot to lie down forever. It's like an invitation to an afterlife adventure with a divine security team to guide you. This tomb wasn't just for looks. Every bit of it, from the demon carvings to the hidden rooms, had a deeper meaning. The way it's all set up, with stairs going down into the ground and secret rooms, tells the story of Osiris, his life, how he was killed and cut up, and then his big role as the judge of the dead. It's like the whole place is a storybook in stone about death and coming back to life, showing Osiris is with you all the way. Tucked away on Thebes' west bank, the Tomb of Osiris in Sheikh Abd el-Qurna is like a page from a history book that keeps getting more interesting. First found a bit by Philippe Viré, back in the 1880s, it was only much later that a team from Spain and Italy, working with Egypt's big shots in old stuff, really figured out how complex and full of treasures this place was. It's like stepping right into a story about Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god who's all about the afterlife. This tomb isn't just another grave. It's like a massive tribute to Osiris, filled with rooms and secret passages that lead down to a place where a statue of Osiris is the main show, surrounded by scary-looking statues meant to protect the dead. These designs and the stuff they found inside tell us a lot about what ancient Egyptians thought happened after you die, that it was as important as the life you lived. The work that started with Viré's discovery has grown into a big project that digs into the tomb's design and what's inside. The more they dig, the more they hope to learn about the Egyptians' ideas of the afterlife, all revolving around Osiris. As they keep cleaning up the place and checking out what's hidden in the tomb, they're pretty sure they'll find even more cool stuff that tells us about how folks back then saw the world after this one. Walking into the tomb, you're pretty much greeted by Osiris and some fierce-looking statues right away, making it clear this was no ordinary resting place. The main room, held up by big pillars, leads to a temple where Osiris stands tall. Next door, there's a room with more of those protective statues, probably there to keep away bad spirits, or just to keep the dead company forever. Then there's this big staircase that goes down into a deep pit, leading to more rooms full of old debris. It's like they wanted to make a mini version of Osiris's own mythical tomb, with a secret island and everything, just for him. The way they built the tomb, with all its dramatic steps and hidden spots, really shows how much the Egyptians loved to mix their building skills with their beliefs about the stars and the stories of their gods. But what's actually inside these rooms? We're mostly guessing it's the usual tomb gear: little statues, fancy jewelry, protective charms, and maybe a sign that says, "Keep out." Dr. Maria Milagros Alvarez Sosa, who's leading the dig, says this place is super important because it's for folks who are meant to hang out with Osiris forever. That sounds pretty serious, but it also means Osiris has his job cut out for him, looking after the afterlife. Even though Viray was the first to stumble upon parts of this tomb ages ago, we're only now starting to see the whole picture, thanks to newer digs. And it sounds like there's still a lot more to find if they can get past all the ancient rubble. The Tomb of Osiris is a huge deal because it shows just how fancy the ancient Egyptians could get when it came to planning for the world to come. But more than that, it's about their search for meaning and wanting to make sure they had a good spot in the afterlife. Next, uncover the secrets of Osiris's tomb, where ancient tales meet real discoveries. Exploring life after death. Surrounded by mystery and historical fascination, the Tomb of Osiris discovery stands as a puzzle that transports us back in time, yet leaves us wondering, who thought up this magnificent structure? Was it a result of divine guidance or simply human creativity? Building such an intricate final resting spot for a deity raises curiosity about ancient construction techniques and mystical methods now forgotten. Going back to the heart of this significant find, Osiris himself. This deity's story has been told for thousands of years, leaving a lasting mark through history. Osiris is unique among Egyptian gods, symbolizing life, death, and rebirth. His green color highlighting his connection to growth and the Nile's yearly wonders. The Osiris myth, full of intrigue, betrayal, and resurrection, feels like a dramatic story penned by celestial beings. With Set as the antagonist brother and Isis as the loyal wife gathering her husband's scattered pieces, this saga combines divine drama with the Egyptians' views on the afterlife. The unearthing of Osiris's tomb in Luxor is an intriguing mix of old myths and new explorations. First noticed by Philippe Viray in the 1880s, its full significance has come to light recently thanks to a Spanish-Italian team and Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities. Found in el-Qurna on Luxor's west bank, this discovery showcases a setup dedicated to Osiris, with structures echoing the Osirian at Abydos. This find has sparked fresh interest in the Osiris myth, revealing the depth of ancient Egyptian afterlife beliefs. Osiris, central to Egyptian mythology, embodied the cycle of existence, profoundly influencing religious and architectural developments. The tomb, believed to be from the 25th dynasty, with its distinctive architecture including a main hall and a chapel with an Osiris statue, offers insights into these ancient practices. This ongoing exploration is not only revealing the tomb's architectural beauty, but also reignites discussions on ancient Egyptians' afterlife beliefs, offering a glimpse into their relationship with the divine and eternity. As more of the tomb is excavated, the archaeological world anticipates new discoveries that will deepen our understanding of ancient Egyptian culture and its mysteries. The worship of Osiris played a crucial role in the religious life of ancient Egyptians, providing them with a rich story about life, death, and what happens after we die. Osiris was believed to have been a real king of Egypt who, after his death and coming back to life, turned into the god who oversees the afterlife. His tale is a key part of Egyptian myths, touching on betrayal, murder, coming back to life, and fairness. To honor Osiris, the people of ancient Egypt engaged in various ceremonies and festive events. The most important of these was the Koyak festival, a time when they acted out the story of Osiris's death and return to life. A highlight of this festival was making Osiris beds, which were like molds filled with soil and seeds. These beds had a deep meaning, linking Osiris to farming and growth because the sprouting seeds were seen as Osiris coming back to life. The practice of mummification was closely tied to the worship of Osiris, mirroring the hope for life after death and forever existence. According to the myths, Osiris was the first to be mummified, setting an example for others to follow. The complex steps of mummification were meant to keep the body safe for the soul's eventual return, guaranteeing a never-ending life beyond death. As part of the celebration of his life, death, and rebirth, the ancient Egyptians would create Osiris Gardens. These were small plots of land, fertile and planted with crops, to represent Osiris's link to plants and the fresh start of life. These gardens were both a symbol and a practical way to show the cycle of life and the hope for coming back to life. Through these traditions, the ancient Egyptians aimed to connect with the divine and secure their spot in the afterlife, over which Osiris was thought to preside. The rituals, celebrations, and everyday activities devoted to Osiris were more than just religious acts. They were a deep expression of the ancient Egyptians' views on the world and their own roles within it. At its core, the ongoing exploration of the Tomb of Osiris is not just about digging up the past, it's a deep dive into the ancient Egyptian way of understanding the universe, a place where gods and humans alike try to make sense of what lies beyond death. Now explore how ancient Egyptians aimed for an eternal life with special rituals. The hidden side of Egyptian celebrations. In the vast and colorful world of ancient Egyptian ceremonies, the opening of the mouth ceremony wasn't just a complex tradition, but also a dramatic effort to ensure that the person who had died received a special ticket to the afterlife's most exclusive gatherings. This practice, wrapped in the appearance of a divine act, was believed to give the person who had passed away the extraordinary powers to talk, eat, and breathe among the stars, all thanks to the blessing of Osiris. However, one might question the authenticity of such ancient customs. Was it really about faith? Or was it the olden days way of pretending you've made it until you actually make it in life beyond? The calendar of ancient Egyptian festivities was filled with celebrations for different gods, and among these, the Festival of Osiris, also known as the Feast of the Wadi, was particularly noteworthy. This event, along with others like the Feast of Khoiak, shed light on the intricate system of beliefs centered around Osiris, the god of the afterlife, agriculture, and coming back to life. The Feast of Khoiak, in particular, focused on the story of Osiris being killed by his brother Seth and being brought back to life by his sister wife Isis, which echoed the yearly renewal of crops. This festival included the activity of planting seeds in Osiris-shaped molds, watering them until they sprouted, and then burying them, a ritual that symbolized Osiris's return to life and guaranteed the fertility of crops. Another significant celebration was the Opet festival, which aimed at renewing the king's strength through the god Amun. This festival involved parading the statue of Amun through Thebes, creating a direct line of communication between the deity and the people. During this event, food and drinks were shared, and divine prophecies were sought by those attending. The Tek festival, dedicated to Hathor, was another fascinating event. It encouraged celebrants to drink excessively in remembrance of Hathor's change from the destructive Sekhmet to a kind goddess. This festival, along with the Hathor festival held at Dendera, demonstrated the Egyptians' love for Hathor as a nurturing figure, symbolized by her representation as a cow. The Min festival, which honored the fertility god Min, stood as one of Egypt's oldest festivals. It included a procession with Min's statue, with the pharaoh performing the ceremonial cutting of the first grain as an offering to the god. This act highlighted the pharaoh's divine role and the prayers for a plentiful harvest. These festivals, along with others like the Sokar festival, which became part of the Khoiak festival, and the unique ceremonies recorded in the Dendera texts for the Khoiak festival, illustrate the Egyptians' deep bond with their gods, the cycles of life and death and nature. The dramatic and interactive elements of the Osirian Khoiak festival drama, with its symbolic gestures and use of props and masks, further highlight the performative and rich nature of Egyptian religious traditions, showing the complexity of their ritualistic landscape. The recent uncovering of the Shrine of 15 Headless Falcons in Berenike by a team of Spanish and Polish archaeologists offers a fascinating new piece to the puzzle of ancient religious practices in Egypt and among the Blemis. This shrine, which dates back to between the 4th and 6th centuries AD, is home to 15 mummified falcons, most of which are missing their heads, arranged in a circle around a central platform, alongside eggs of falcons that never hatched. This unique setup has never been seen before and suggests a detailed and complex ritual that blends Egyptian customs with those of the Blemis, a group from Nubia known for sticking to their ancient religious ways, even as the power of the Roman Empire diminished in their area. Adding to the intrigue is a stone tablet found at the shrine with an odd message cautioning against boiling heads. This message points to a blending of religious practices that might have included veneration of the moon god Khonsu. The finding broadens our understanding of the Blemis, who resided in the eastern desert as the Roman Empire declined, and opens new paths for studying how Egyptian and Nubian cultures intersected during these centuries. The dig at this shrine in Berenike, an important trading port on the Red Sea, known for its role in the emerald trade from the nearby Mons Smaragdus, illuminates the cultural and economic exchanges that characterize this area from the time of the Ptolemies through Roman control and into the period dominated by the Blemis. This discovery is part of the larger Sikite project, which seeks to delve into the lives of those who lived in this segment of the eastern desert. It offers a peek into an era when Berenike flourished as a center of commerce, benefiting from its strategic location near trade pathways and emerald mines. The finding of these headless falcons in a sanctuary built by a community celebrated for their strong sense of independence and commitment to their customs highlights an intriguing facet of ancient spiritual beliefs. In an age when falcons were revered as emblems of divine authority, what ceremony required their beheading and interment? This remarkable discovery not only enriches our comprehension of ancient Egyptian spirituality, but also portrays the Blemis in a manner that challenges the widespread shift towards monotheism within the empire. Dive into a tale of old rituals and new finds at Egypt's Berenike, the legendary Cleopatra, and the Falcon Shrine. Digging into Egypt's ancient mysteries, the recent dig at Berenike has thrown a curveball into the complex understanding of ancient Egyptian worship. At this site, archaeologists found a shrine dedicated to the falcon, a symbol associated with Horus, the sky god. What they uncovered was unusual. 15 mummified falcons, all without heads, arranged in a circle around a base, creating a scene more reminiscent of a dark theatrical piece than a sacred ceremony. This odd scene, along with a group of eggs that never hatched, hints at unknown rituals that blended the traditions of the Blemis with the ancient Egyptians' worship of Khonsu. The warning carved on a stone tablet against boiling heads, as peculiar and precise as it is, suggests the unique and specific practices that were carried out in this temple. Professor Joan Aller Guzman has speculated about a blend of religious practices, a mix of beliefs from Egyptian gods and Blemi traditions. Yet, it feels like history enjoys playing games, offering clues that lead to more questions than answers. In the quest for Cleopatra's missing tomb, an underground passage was discovered beneath the Taposiris Magna Temple, dedicated to Osiris, the god of the afterlife, near Alexandria, Egypt. This tunnel, unearthed by Kathleen Martinez from the University of Santo Domingo, extends for 4,300 feet under the earth. Its discovery has sparked renewed interest in finding the final resting place of Cleopatra, marking a potential breakthrough in one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. The tunnel, lying about 43 feet underground, has been praised as an architectural wonder for its precision, reminiscent of the Eupalinos Tunnel in Greece, known for its role as an aqueduct. This find is not just a testament to ancient engineering skills, but also hints at the possibility of leading to Cleopatra's tomb, especially given the artifacts and a necropolis found in the vicinity. The excavation team has unearthed various artifacts, including 2 alabaster statues dating back to the Ptolemaic period, pottery, and coins featuring Cleopatra VII and Alexander the Great. These discoveries suggest the temple was an important site during Cleopatra's time. Martinez, who switched from criminal law to archaeology, has spent over 15 years in search of Cleopatra's tomb at Osiris Magna. Her work, especially the discovery of the extensive tunnel, has shed new light on the era of Ptolemaic Egypt and its final pharaoh. As history continues to reveal its secrets, with Cleopatra's life and ancient engineering marvels coming to light, we stand on the brink of potentially groundbreaking discoveries or another intriguing chapter in our quest to piece together the past. Explore the hunt for Cleopatra's hidden tomb with us. Finding the shadows of her grave. The story of where Cleopatra was buried is filled with secrets and combines the fascination of ancient Egypt with the mysterious life of its last ruler. While some think Cleopatra's grave is hidden under Alexandria, others focus on Osiris Magna, a temple linked with the worship of Isis, a goddess Cleopatra deeply respected. This location has sparked fresh debate because of the recent find of a long underground passage that shows how skilled ancient engineers were, similar to the famous Eupalinos tunnel. The hunt for Cleopatra's final resting place has grown thanks to new technology like ground-penetrating radar, GPR, LiDAR, and satellite pictures. These tools have revealed unusual ground features that could be secret rooms or doorways that might lead to Cleopatra. Important work by archaeologists like Kathleen Martinez and underwater searches by Frank Gaudio have put a spotlight on places like Osiris Magna and the parts of Alexandria that are underwater. Stories from history and Shakespeare's plays hint that Cleopatra and Mark Antony were buried together in a grand way, probably in Alexandria, following the orders of the Roman leader Octavian. This magnificent grave, believed to be decorated richly, shows the strong connection between Cleopatra and Antony, but its exact location is still one of the great mysteries of history. Martinez's work at Osiris Magna has turned up exciting discoveries, including a precisely cut tunnel, statues from the Ptolemaic period, and items with Cleopatra's likeness. These findings support the idea that Osiris Magna, important for worshipping Osiris and related to the story of Isis and Osiris, might hide Cleopatra's grave. The temple's link to royal burials and the Isis cult, along with Cleopatra's own identification with the goddess, strengthen the case for this site being crucial in finding the queen's grave. Yet, this story is about more than just searching for a tomb. It involves exploring underground paths stretching from King Mariot Lake to the Mediterranean Sea. 16 graves have been found, with their carved fronts telling stories from the Greek and Roman times, giving us a glimpse into ancient burial practices and their views on death and what comes after. The announcement of a possible second Sphinx near the Giza Plateau has caught the attention and skepticism of the archaeological world and others. Reda Abdel Halim, from the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, claimed the discovery of a statue similar in size to the Sphinx, which led to a lot of discussions and doubts. Abdel Halim mentioned a study from Egypt's Zagazig University to back up his claims about this second Sphinx. However, these claims were met with doubt from prominent Egyptologists like Zahi Hawass, who found the idea of a second Sphinx unbelievable and criticized the study as false. Found inside an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus, the Book of Two Ways is an incredible find that deeply reflects Egypt's intricate beliefs about life after death. This text, possibly the earliest illustrated book ever discovered, serves as a guide for the soul's journey to reach Rostau, where Osiris, the underworld's ruler, resides. It presents two possible routes for this journey, one over land and the other across water. Both paths are filled with dangers-like fires, demons, and malevolent spirits. However, the book offers spells and chants that the dead could use to protect themselves and secure eternal life. This fascinating document came from the grave of a high-status woman named Ankh in the town of Deir al-Barsha, also known as Deir el-Bersha. It provides additional insights into how ancient Egyptians viewed the cosmos, as well as their nuanced beliefs about dying and coming back to life. The version found with Ankh was tailored to her specific needs, reflecting her social standing and wealth, including particular spells for her safeguarding on her journey to the afterlife. This level of customization highlights how burial customs were adapted to fit an individual's social position and their life story. The Book of Two Ways in Ankh's tomb has been dated to around 4,000 years old, possibly making it the earliest version of such a text. This find not only shifts our understanding of the timeline for ancient texts, but also demonstrates the Egyptians' sophisticated thinking about the afterlife. The artwork and hieroglyphs carved into the sides of the sarcophagus act as a map for navigating through death, showing how committed the Egyptians were to ensuring a good rebirth for their dead. While these discoveries expand our knowledge of ancient beliefs and rituals, they also tread a delicate balance between offering new historical understanding and the temptation towards sensationalism. The search for Cleopatra's tomb, the mysterious Second Sphinx, and the Book of Two Ways not only capture our global fascination, but also push us to separate historical facts from the mesmerizing stories built around them. What's your theory on Cleopatra's final resting place? The answer remains a mystery. Smash that like button, subscribe for more intriguing discussions, and drop your thoughts in the comments below.